that Rabbi Trepp this year came and asked if I happen to have a small Sefer Torah. And I said, I do. יש לי ספר תורה קטן. I said, what do you need it for? למה אתה צריך? אז הוא אמר שהוא נוסע, כל שנה הוא עושה נסיעה לפולין, למחנות הריכוז, לבתי כנסת שם באזור שהיו לפני השואה. Every year he goes to the concentration camps, the areas before that were synagogues. And he takes a group with him, הוא לוקח קבוצה איתו. This time he wants to go to those places with the ספר תורה. הוא רוצה ללכת למקומות האלה עם ספר תורה. Would I mind? I said, mind? Would I mind? כבוד.
בחינם.
בשמחה. With happiness I'll give him the ספר תורה. So our ספר תורה went to places, I'm going to let him say, ניתן לו להגיד את זה, אבל הספר תורה שלנו זכה להיות במקומות, our ספר תורה merited to be in places, במקומות ש-70 שנה, 70 years, מה שהיה שם עולם של תורה, a world of Judaism and Torah. Today, unfortunately, היום לצערנו, שממה ואבדון, desolation and destruction, but our Sefer Torah went back. We won. אנחנו ניצחנו. We are still around. אנחנו עדיין נמצאים. Bloody nose, broken teeth, but we're around. אנחנו נמצאים. So without further ado, Rabbi Trepp.
Such a kavod as always to speak here in this Bet Knesset. Unbelievable. I'll tell you, just as soon as you come into the parking lot over here, I was thinking of the words of the Navi, of the prophets. Hinei yamim ba'im, those days are surely going to come. Lo rav l'lechem v'lo tzama l'mayim. We're not going to be hungry for bread or thirsty for water. Kim lishma divrei Hashem, but only to hear the words of Hashem. You come into the parking lot of Torah Vacheses here in Houston, and you see a packed parking lot. It's not Purim, it's not Simchas Torah, but it's Tisha B'Av. We're coming here to mourn the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, the Chulun Beit HaMikdash, and we're coming to mourn the fact that the Beit HaMikdash has not been rebuilt yet. And you see, it's so beautiful. We're not coming here for bread, we're not coming here for water, we're just coming here to Shema Divrei Hashem. You say, how can Mashiach not be coming soon? I'm just so excited. This year we left from Shabbos into Chol. I can't wait for the time. Hopefully soon we'll be able to leave from Chol into the Shabbos, where we can leave from this world of the mundane, leave from the world we're living in now and go into Shabbat, instead of leaving Shabbat like we did this year into Tisha B'Av. Rabbi Yaakov did an amazing chesed for me and my students. I took to Poland this year. Every year I take, as Rabbi Yaakov says, a group of students to Poland. We travel through Poland. And we visit the highs and the lows. And I want to take, as Rabbi Yaakov said, the Sefer Torah with us to Poland this year. Just to carry it with us, to give us chizuk, to hold it with us close to our heart. Wherever we go, a different student was able to hold it, to walk with it, to sell kelim rachamim with it, to take it through all the concentration camps, the ghettos, the old synagogues, and just bring some sort of life kedusha to a place that's just been desolated. There's many stories I could say, but this Sefer Torah, I'm telling you, it was so powerful. We went to a place called Chelmno. Chelmno is a horrific place. It's one of the death camps, one of the worst death camps in Poland, probably, if I may say. A horrible place. It's one of those places off the beaten path that most people don't go to when they go visiting Poland. It's not like Auschwitz and Birkenau. Chelmno is a small, quiet place in the middle of nowhere. But what happened there, no one should know. We should remember that we should never see such a thing again in our lives. And people were killed very quickly over there. It was very quick death. As soon as they arrived there, if they didn't get there dead, they died as soon as they arrived there. And then what they did to bury as many people in a small place is they'll burn the bodies, they'll crush the bones, and they'll bury the ash and the bones and just cover it with dirt in mass graves. Mass graves, thousands and thousands of people buried like that all over Poland. If they got a burial at all. But to this very day, you go to a place like Chelmno, to this very day, I went there with my students, you can still see pieces of bone spread all over the ground. And I go to each student of mine, I say, here's a little bowl. I want you to walk around and pick up pieces of Jewish bone. Men, women, and children that weren't given a proper kavura. We're all going to come back together in an hour. We're going to bury these bones and say, Kel Moli Rachamim. And for students who just hear stories, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. we hear on the media about did the Holocaust exist, did it not exist? Even in our own country, people who are denying the Holocaust. To pick up bones from the ground of Jewish people that had never had the Kavura. We brought them together. And we're going to say Kilmal Irachimim. I said, let's open up the Sefer Torah. Now, we walked around the whole time with the Torah, with the Sefer Torah, but we never opened it. This is the first time I said I wanted to open it up for the Kilmal Irachimim while we do the Kavura. I asked the student to open it up. It was the first time we opened up the Aseret HaDibrot. And he saw Lotet Tzach, this staring at us in the eyes. Now, I don't know when the last time this Sefer Torah was read. It definitely wasn't the parasha of that Shavuot. It wasn't the Torah portion of that week. But to open it up as we're burying the bones of the Jewish victims, and it says there, do not murder, thou shalt not kill, right there staring in our eyes. Those are the words that opened up. We couldn't have made up such a story. It couldn't have been, I just picked it up from here, put it on the plane, carried it around with us in Poland, opened it up, and there's Lo Titzach. You should never kill, you should not murder. It was just when all of us saw it, we trembled. It was amazing. But then we traveled around with the Sefer Torah. We didn't only do such hard moments, but we went to shuls that hadn't seen Jews in many, many, many years. Empty buildings, big, beautiful buildings, but empty. And all you see is there's a place for an Aron HaKodesh, but it's just like a hole in the wall. There's no parochet, there's a hole in the wall. And it has a big bima in the middle because they were made out of stone. A big in the middle, but then there's no chairs, no tables. There's just a hole in the front wall in the Mizrach where the Sefer Torah once stood, where one sat, and the bima in the middle. And that's all an empty room. And we came in with the Sefer Torah from over here. We put it into the Aron HaKodesh. And then we said, Vayhi bin Saya Aron. We went to open up this ark that hadn't seen a Sefer Torah in so many years. But years ago was packed with Jewish people. And I said, can you imagine what this Bet Knesset was once upon a time on Simchat Torah? And not a Jew has said a tefillah here in so many years. And we took the Sefer Torah out. And we danced with it for a long, long time in this shul. And then we went from shul to shul to shul. The Sefer Torah, sitting in that little Sefer Torah, in that ark over there in the Aron HaKodesh. And we took it to shuls that hadn't seen a Sefer Torah, hadn't seen Jews, hadn't heard the voice of simcha, of joy, of happiness, of singing. And we took it to so many places across Poland and danced with it, sang with it, and we made such a Kiddush Hashem over there. We took it with us to the camps, and those groups of secular Israelis that spent their whole lives in Israel, that said that never experienced such moments as they experienced with us, our students from the University of Texas, with this Sefer Torah over here, the singing, the happiness, the joy. So I want to thank Rabbi Yakobian and this Bet Knesset Vacheses of giving us their Sefer Torah, that we could bring so much Kedusha and Simcha and Tahara to such a place that hasn't seen anything like this in so long. Just gonna say a few more words, okay. One of the places we go every time is the Warsaw Ghetto. Also a very hard place to go. But there's a beautiful story from the Warsaw Ghetto. That after the war, the Polish children are running around playing in this new play area, because there used to be buildings, now it's just rubble. So it's a nice play area for Polish kids. And they're running around and they find under the stones some manuscripts, some kitvei yad. Under the stones in the Warsaw Ghetto, they found some Sifrei Kodesh, which was handwritten. And the Polish kids didn't know what they looked at it. It was a language they didn't understand. So they took it to an American soldier and they sold it to him for a couple of dollars. The American soldier looked at it and saw it was Hebrew. It was Lashon HaKodesh. He couldn't read it at all. He took it to the chaplain. He took it to the Rav over there, the American Rabbi, Rabbi Hollander. And he says, you probably want this. He opened it up and it was the Kisvei Kodesh of Rav Klonimus Kalman of Piasetzna, the Admor Piasetzna, who was the Rav, one of the Rabbanim in the Warsaw Ghetto. And at the front page, it's all handwritten. He wrote some beautiful, beautiful Sfarim. These were the Eish Kodesh and Nachshor Savrechim, the two very, very holy Sfarim. And the front page, it was all handwritten, but on the front page, on this page over here, he had the whole handwritten letter. And it says, if this is found after the war, I don't know if there'll be any Judaism Yahadut left in Poland. I don't know if there'll be any Judaism left in any Jewish people of Judaism left in Poland. I don't know what Judaism Yahadut will be like in Europe. It could be the whole Europe will be destroyed. I don't know what Judaism will be like in the world. The way it looks like now, it looks so dark. It just looks like there's going to be any future for the Jewish people at all. But one thing I can promise you, there's a promise from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'shalayim ircha barachim tashuv. There'll always be Jewish people living in the beautiful, great, holy city of Yerushalayim. I beg of you, if you find these Kitzvei Kodesh, if you find these manuscripts, take them to Yerushalayim and beg someone to print these. And I tell you that if you print these Sfarim, I will throw my body onto the Kisei HaKavod, and I'll beg for all the brachot in the world for you. Just do me that one favor. Immediately they took these Sfarim printed, and now you can imagine Klein was Kam in the Warsaw Ghetto who thought, will anyone ever see my Torah? Will anyone see these beautiful words? And now they're all over the world. People are living them everywhere. These holy, beautiful words of Rabbi Klein was Kam in the Piasetzna, who was killed in the most horrific, disgusting way during the Shoah. The Rosh Shlomo Carlebach said a beautiful story, the way he always said it in his beautiful way. He said he wants to meet a person that learned Torah from the words, he wants to hear the words of the Rabbi Kalman. He wants to meet someone who actually heard Torah from Rabbi Kalman. And he searched, he says, I don't even think such a thing exists. I don't think you can find such a person. I think they're all wiped out. He says, once he was walking in Tel Aviv, and he sees an old man, a road sweeper, picking up trash in the streets of Tel Aviv. And he goes over to Shlomo Carlebach like you do to everyone and say, Shalom Aleichem. And the Yid answered back, Aleichem Shalom. And in a Polish accent, Habarat Polin, it says like a Polish Yiddish. He says, where are you from? He says, I'm from Piasetzna. He said, do you know Rabbi Klein Kalman? He says, I sure do. Of course I know Rabbi Klein Kalman. I was a young child and I learned by Rabbi Klein Kalman. He says, tell me some Torah from Klein Kalman. It's my life's dream to hear some Torah from Klein Kalman. He says, you think after what I've been through, I can remember any Torah from Klein Kalman? I can't remember anything. What I've been through, they've destroyed any memory of me. He says, please, you have to remember something. He says, okay, you want to hear something? Shlomo Carlebach says, yes, please. He says, okay, you hadn't said anything from Klein Kalman in so long. He's a garbage collector. He brushes down his clothing. He goes and washes his hands. He straightens out his tie. He says, you'll never understand what it's like to be like with Klein Kalman. But you can imagine a Friday night. Just try and imagine a Friday night. We sing Shalom Aleichem. The Malachim are dancing. We can make Kiddush, Challah, Hamoitzi on the Challah. And then we sit down to eat the fish. And Klein Kalman starts saying Torah on the Parashat HaShavua. And then he says one line afterwards. He says, Kinderlich Gedenkschein, Kinderlich, please remember, the größte Sache in the world, the most important thing in this world is to tzin a Yid a Tova. To do a Yid a Tova, to do a Tova for another Jewish person. And then they'll go back to eating. They'll eat the soup. After soup, we'll say more Torah. And then he'll go back and say, Kinderlich, the größte Sache in the Welt zu tun a Yid a Tova, the most important thing in the world, and the Vacheses chashuk ba'olam, is to do a Jew a Tova. And then he'll go back to eating the main course, and he'll go back saying Torah again. And he'll go back, the größte Sache in the Welt, to do a Jew a Tova. I don't remember any of the Torah. I don't remember any of it. But that line I cannot forget. And I want to tell you, when I was in the camps, and there was nothing left in me, the Nazis in had just killed me. There was nothing left in me. I wanted to end my life so many times. I want to say it's enough already, goodbye. And I remembered the words of Klein Kalman, the größte Sache in the Welt is to tun a Yid a Tova. You know how many Tovas you could do in the camps? You know how many people are broken. You know how many people have nothing. You know how many people I can help, I can lift up. How many hugs. How many people just put my arm around. You don't have to say anything. Just be there for them. How can I take myself away? The best thing and the most important thing in the world is to do another Jew a Tova. I survived. I came to Eretz Yisrael. I'm sweeping the streets of Tel Aviv. I have no family. My whole community. Everything was robbed from me. I came with nothing. I'm lonely. I'm a road sweeper in Tel Aviv. So many times I said, I can't anymore. I can't live. I can't continue to live like this. And said that so many times I thought I was going to go into the Yam in Tel Aviv. He was swept on the Yarkon. He said, I'll go into the Yam in Tel Aviv and just call it a day. And he says, you know how many favors you could do in the streets of Tel Aviv? You know how many people out there that are broken, that have got such difficult lives? How many people you can hug, you can kiss, say a good word? How can I end it? And I kept going. I come every day to Tel Aviv, and I sweep the streets of Tel Aviv with the words of Rabbi Kalman, the größte Sache in the Welt, the most important thing in this world is to do another Jew a Tova. He passed away not long after that. This is a while ago. And I was thinking that we're coming now to Tisha B'Av. We're supposed to cry over years and years and years of Churban. How many tears do we have to cry for the the Beit HaMikdash, both of them, the first and the second? To think about Rabbi Akiva and the Saruge Malchut, the great people that were killed. You think about the Spanish Inquisition, the Holocaust, the Russian communism, but think about pogroms, blood libels, what happened in Sarfat, what happened in all the way through the history of the world, the terrible things that happened. How many tears does any of us have to cry for these things? How can we even start? Where do we start? But you know what we can cry for? Chazal tell us that if the Beit HaMikdash wasn't built in our days, it's as if we destroyed it. How can I carry that on my shoulders? Am I responsible for the Beit HaMikdash not being built in our times? And I was thinking about this today. Remember what Chazal tell us too, that kol ha'matzel nefesh achat b'Yisrael ke'ilu k'im olam maleh. Whoever saves one Jewish person is as if you built an entire world. And the reverse, the opposite is also true, chas v'shalom. Whoever destroys one Jewish person is as if you destroyed an entire world. And I'm thinking to myself, how many people can we build? How many people can we help? How many people can we save? Hamatzel nefesh achas v'Yisrael. You save one person, you've built an entire world. If we destroy people, we have created in our times a Churban Beit HaMikdash. I could cry for that. I should cry for the people that I haven't helped, the people that I haven't hugged. There's so many people out there that need help, need a hug, need a listening ear, need someone to talk to, need a compliment, just a smile. And if you've got nothing nice to say to someone, don't say it at all. But why destroy them? Why break them? Why pull them down? We're living in such a hard time. Lift people up. Give people chizuk. Give them a hug. Why hold back? It's so easy to give a child a kiss. What happens when they grow up? All of a sudden we can't anymore. Why can't we hug people? Can't we kiss people? We have to build. We have to create, and we can't destroy. Because if we don't, then we are destroying the Beis HaMikdash in our time. And that's why the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed back then as well. We pray that if we build enough in our days, if we can go around and build people, lift people up, give people chizuk, and build buildings, then hopefully soon the Ribbon Shel Olam, Hashem, will come and build the ultimate binyan of the Beit HaMikdash, very, very soon, b'mher b'yameinu, and all of us can go and dance with the Sefer Torah, not in Poland, but all the neshamot from the past, the present, and the future can dance in Yerushalayim in the Beit HaMikdash, b'karov mamash.
Amen.